My first question is about TIFF Next Wave, even though that was a while ago now. But what was it
Yeah.
like presenting it at that film festival?
That was really cool because TIFF Next Wave is for it's a festival designed for films that appeal to like 15 to 30-year-olds,
Mhm.
which is currently Gen Z, and that's like exactly who this film is for. All the actors are in their early 20s and yeah, I mean it's a coming of age story. So it was perfect. I mean, we were super like honored to be selected. It's only 10 films a year and really validated that younger people connect with the film and really love our actors too. So it was a blast. Um, yeah, couldn't have been better.
Yeah. So I want to go with where the idea for pools came from because on the very basic level, it's a girl looking for air conditioning, but obviously it goes far deeper than that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that air conditioning is, an excuse to search for something much deeper,
Mhm.
right? And the heat wave is sort of an analogy on the outside to what's going on for her on the inside with just like crippling panic attacks and a total cognitive dissonance over like what she's doing with her life and what she actually wants to be doing with her life. And she's still figuring that out along the way. So I think much in the same way as the characters figuring it out, I was figuring it out as I was writing it. I really didn't know where it was going to go. And the initial idea just came from this free write about the girl in the window and the AC man on the lawn and the heat wave. And it just sort of ended up turning into like a I guess, exploration of my own sort of coming of age story compressed into like 2 days and like a couple wild summer nights.
Yeah. And so you
So,
you shot it in your hometown, right? So that was kind of like a coming home experience as what did that feel like as a director?
well, it wasn't actually my hometown. It was
Mm.
the town a couple towns over, but very
Okay.
close. Like I grew up, like I was able to stay at my mom's house while I was filming. It's
That's
like 15
trippy, I feel
minutes.
like.
Yeah, so that was weird. That was also super nice because she would like, you know, come and drop things off on set and whatever. But um but yeah, so that was really cool. I definitely like I grew up in that area in a different town and would grow up, going to Lake Forest where we shot and love Lake Forest and also did some pool hopping there because that's where the biggest mansions and the best pools exist.
You mentioned it's a coming of age movie, and there's such an important genre of films, but I feel like where Pools fits in is a bit of a gap. Like we don't have a lot of movies of the first couple of years of college, and I think it's a really interesting time. It's either we get coming of age movies of teenagers, or it's like late 20s trying to figure out their life post
Yeah.
graduation. So can
Yeah,
you talk a little bit about why you ended up in I think she's a sophomore, right?
she's a sophomore.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, she's a sophomore. Well, that was just honestly that was the age that my dad passed away when I was in college, was when I was 20. It was like right after sophomore year. So, I guess I probably just, made it that age for that reason. But yeah, I totally agree. I feel like every coming of age movie like ends at like prom,
Mhm.
and it's I don't know. I think you're still coming of age a lot later than that.
Mhm.
And I think actually most kids that are in college, myself included, are pretty lost and we have no clue what the fuck we are doing or what we want. Um, because, and we're just kind of thrown into these systems. And so many colleges, it's like, you know, some colleges are great and you learn a lot. And, I think I learned a lot in college, but there's also a lot of just like, I don't know, it's just like a stage of life
Mhm.
and people are just kind of like partying and trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think it's in some ways it's almost like more coming of age to me than high school because in high
Mhm.
school you're still under your parents' roof and you have a lot more sort of like traditional guidelines going on for you. And when you get to college, it's like, okay, you're off on your own. You got to start figuring out, oh wait, what do I actually want and who am I actually as a person?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then
I
it
feel like
happens again after college, even, more so. So I don't know.
I feel like Pools and Cooper Rafe's shit house to me are like really kindred spirits of
Oh
like
yeah.
that early confusion of like I'm supposed to be so happy, but I am utterly miserable. And I that is what I really loved about the film is how much the two of them felt connected. Because
Mm,
that style of movie is very much what I love. So
yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I'm
yeah.
glad to hear that. Yeah, I love that movie, Shithouse. So that's like music to my ears to hear the that comparison. Thank you.
It's like a Technicolor shit house because I mean stylistically they're extraordinarily different, but like
Right.
thematically they're the same. And what I loved about Pools is that it did feel like you had this visual language that was different and new and exciting. Like the scene that
Yeah.
you were talking about from the free ride of she's in the dorm and then the guy's out on the lawn. Like the way that you cut that was so fascinating. So was that
Right.
built into the script or did that come about as you were in the editing room?
Um, yeah, that was built into the script,
Hmm.
100%. And the editing room was like like getting what I had built into the script into reality was very difficult because it was like, on the lawn
Mhm.
working with the biggest zoom lens I've ever seen. The thing was like bigger than the screen. It was like it was a 50 to 1500 zoom lens. So and then landing those zooms is like incredibly difficult because it's like you have to just the DP has to like land it like pinpoint just right for it to not end up being way off because you're so zoomed in, you
Mhm.
know? So yeah, that was a lot of takes for for those shots. And then in the edit too, it was a lot, it was like I spent way too much time editing that sequence together to try to get it just right. And but I'm glad I did because that's like one of the most signature stylistic moments that I wanted for the movie. And I think it's a moment where that style like works really well. So yeah, I mean, like I said, that was the beginning of the movie was really that scene, so I had to do it justice.
You did. It's so great. It's such a fun moment, and I feel like it's such a good introduction to who both of those characters are.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Glad to
those
hear
two characters, Michael and Kennedy, I feel like there's a version of this movie where their relationship turns romantic, which I think would have
it.
not as strong as what ultimately happened. Was there,
Yeah.
did you ever consider that, or did you know immediately that it was just going to be weird buddies for 2 nights?
I didn't know it I didn't know immediately what would happen. I just knew that this was a relationship that was like they kind of when they intersect again at the house, it's such like a weird coincidence that they know that it's like meant to be in some way, right? So it's like they know it's bigger than just like, oh, we're gonna like hook up or something. You know what I mean? Like so it was never really like lending itself toward that um romantically and then as they talk it becomes very clear that it's like they're sort of both at a similar place in life and they're both kind of like lost but as they talk Michael very much takes on like an older brother
Mhm.
sort of role toward her and so yeah, so that's really what it is. But I think I like that the audience hopefully wonders, like, oh, is this going to happen? But then it doesn't because that's not what this movie is about at all. And that's when I realized that it was like, oh, there's no way this is going to happen because like this movie is about her personal journey and her personal growth, finding herself. Like, I think if there was like a romantic plot, that would just be a massive distraction and I think that's cheesy. I think there's like so many coming of age films where it's like, okay, you got to have your like romantic B plot
Mhm.
and I don't know. I just don't. it just wasn't what the movie was about. So
Yeah, I sat there like nervous because I was like, please, it's going so well. It's like their dynamic is so good and so important. I was like, please don't let it turn romantic. And I was so
yeah,
happy that it didn't. Yeah.
yeah, no, no, me too, me too.
Odessa is such an incredible like force in this movie, and I this was my first introduction to her, and then was so surprised when she popped up in Until Dawn like last week. So, what was about her in the casting that made you want to put her in the lead role of Kennedy?
It was just like her vibe as a person. I had started like doing some free writing, with somewhat like a vague character in mind. And when I saw her on somebody's Instagram story and was like, "Oh my God, like she's perfect for this. Like that's totally the girl." And she hadn't done a ton of work at the time, not
Mhm.
nearly as much as she has now. Now she's really blowing up. And so I was able to just like get a coffee with her. I knew a couple of people that knew her, and then took her through the story and my just general ideas. Even though I didn't fully know where the story was going, I just took her through like the vision for the movie. And she really vibed with it, and we had a good vibe. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna write this with you in mind. And I did that. And then eventually once I finished it, she read the script and she liked it. So there we were. But yeah, there was no like specific reason. It was just sort of like a feeling.
Yeah. And she also helped with the music too, as well, right?
Yeah, she did. She wrote an original song that kind of becomes like the climax of the movie. So, and yeah, I mean, she really like we didn't even really touch that song at all. Like she just wrote that and like that's the song, and I think it's an amazing song.
Yeah. That's great. And music is such an important role. Like I was so happy to hear Thumpasaurus in there. I think it's just a fun,
Yeah.
great soundtrack that you put together. Was there can you talk a little bit about that side of things? Was that written
Oh,
into the
thank you.
script?
Yeah, Thumpasaurus is somebody that my music supervisor, Payman Maskin, brought to me, and he's just really good. He's great, and he's good at finding these sort of like, you know, songs that are amazing and feel really big, but haven't quite popped off yet. He does a good job of kind of predicting that, and so yeah, he found us a lot of great indie artists that we were able to get songs for the film for not too much. And then our composer was incredible too. He's a guy named Cody Fry, and he's like just a brilliant composer and also a pop artist with a pretty substantial following. But that was his first movie
Wow,
that he composed.
that's awesome. My last question for you, just a
Mhm.
fun one. You have to either spend, which would you prefer, summer without AC or a winter without heat?
I think I'll go with the summer without AC because it's going to
Oh.
force me to get in a lot of pools.
That
At
makes,
least
I
on
mean, it is the title of your movie, so it does make sense.
that. Yeah, pretty
I
much.
thank you so much, Sam. This is great. And I think Pools is no exaggeration. I think it's one of my favorite things that I've seen this year. I loved it.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.